So, Parashat Lech Lecha, page Dalet, right? וירד אברהם מצרים. So Abraham went down to Egypt, right? So this is something interesting, right? So Lech Lecha, Hashem gave a specific blessing to Abraham. He made him a VIP, celebrity, rich, everything, children, right? When he will go to the Canaan, to the land. So he went over there. He was very poor. He didn't have money. He goes to Canaan. All the other places, they had food and everything, but not Canaan. Like, so I left my country, I left my father, I left the homeland and everything. You promised me, I'm going to the place you promised me, and now what? There's no food, no nothing. Like, where's the blessing? That was the test, and Hashem is testing him, right? So now he go down to Egypt to get some food. Right? So went down to Egypt. When he get closer to Egypt, right, to the checkpoint in the border, right? והיה כי יראו אותך המצרים, ואמרו אשתו זאת והרגו אותי, ואותך יחיו. אמרי נא אחותי, את למען ייטב לי בעבורך, וחייתה נפשי בגללך. So Abraham getting closer to the checkpoint, and he tells Sarah, you know, you're a beautiful woman. The Egyptian, which we all know that were washed with the immorality thing and adultery. The Egyptian will see you, and they said, we have a rule. We will never go with a married woman, right? As long as she have a husband. They have rules and order, but they can kill him. Now she is a widow. Now she can be with her. So he asked Sarah, you know, if they will ask you, then you should say that you are my sister. So they were not going to kill me because of that, and I will leave. She said, Yesh levaer, we need to explain all the parsha about Abraham going down to Egypt and what happened with Sarah. And what the Torah is teaching us, right? Because again, this story is not something that happened in the history. It's teaching us something. It's infinite. It's applicable to any time, right? Any year. So now we're going to ask what the Torah is teaching us. And first he said, Yesh להבין מה שעמדו המפרשים על עצם ירידת אברהם, מצרים, מקום טומאה ושטופי זומה. So he said first, the מפרשים, they need to explain us why in first place Abraham went down to Egypt, the place of Tuma. Because, okay, fine, you know, there was a famine and a hunger, right? But it says, ביעקב כתיב וירד מצרימה אנוס על פי הדיבור. Yaakov Avinu went down to Egypt because he was forced by Hashem. He had no choice. He couldn't refuse. But Abraham, all his life was mesirut nefesh. He could stay in Canaan and said, okay, well, I'll go to whatever, I don't know, to Canada. But he went down to Egypt. And also another question, אומרו, אמרי נא אחותי את למען ייטב לי בעבורך. It's like, say that you are my sister, so I will benefit because of you. And Rashi explained, I will be given gifts and presents. So they ask what? For the presents, for the freebie, for the gift, Abraham went down to Egypt for his wife to say that she is his sister. And also Isur Gilui Arayot, and also immorality thing is Yarek V'Bal Ya'avor. And he says, what? Well, Abraham was doing that? Like, what's going on here? He said, and we need to explain Inyan Yeridat Avraham leMitzrayim, Kideita Basfarim Gedolim. So we need to explain according to the Holy Book when it says in the Midrash Bereshit Rabbah. Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu leAvraham, right? So Hashem is telling Avraham, go and conquer the path for your sons, for your descendant, or pave the road for them.
Gera,
Okay.
I don't see the next page.
I'm still in this page.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
You don't see the page?
Is it the first page where you were off?
Yeah, still, פ' ד', yeah. ויש לבאר עניין ירידת מצרים, yeah. צא וכבוש הדרך לפני בניך, right? He says, והיינו שירדתו הייתה בכדי להתיש את כוח הקליפה במידת יסוד. Right? We just talked a few minutes about the process of the redemption and Geulah that can last for years, like today, 2,000 years almost. So this is the beginning. In order to exhaust, to weaken the shell, the klipa, specifically in the midat yesod, right? So midat yesod is the midah of like the foundation, the core. which is in the middle of our body, right? That's the Yesod, which is the middle of Yosef eventually. Why? Because Mitzrayim is Ervat Haaretz, that like the place of Tuma. וישראל היו עתידים לרד שמה, right? And in the future, all of us need to go down to Egypt. וכדי שיהיה להם כוח להחזיק שם מעמד, in order for us, for the בני ישראל, to have the strength to hold down over there, Avraham went first, Avraham and Sarah, to start the fixing over there. ועל ידי כל העניין שרה עם פרעה, שברו את כוח היצר של זוהמה הזאת, למען יוכלו בני בניהם להחזיק שם מעמד. So their grandchildren could hold the horn over there. So Avraham and Sarah went down to Egypt to break that evil inclination of filth and tuma. And this is also the same reason why Yosef went down to Egypt first and his Nisayon with the wife of Potiphar. Everything is part of the plan in order to break the Sitra Achra, the other side and the shell of Egypt. In order for Israel to keep the purity, as I said, just says in Veika, right? And I'm moving to another page. שלא אחד היה מהם פרוץ בעריות, right? None one single Jew was, or Israelites was doing immorality things. And according to that, יבואר אומרו, למען ייטב לי בעבורך. So the other question that we ask, how is it possible that Abraham said, yeah, I say that you're my sister, and I will benefit, and I will be given gift because of you. So he says in the Zohar HaKadosh, הנה נא ידעתי כי אישה יפת מראה. Now I know that you're a beautiful woman. Not beautiful in the physicality. Abraham saw that the Shechina is dwelling on Sarah, and therefore she doesn't need any protection because the Shechina with her, and nobody can harm her. ועל זה שמח אברהם אבינו, ואומרו לה, אוקיי, אמרי נא אחותי את, ולא פחד עליה, because after all, you're not going to fight for your wife, you just tell her, say my your sister, and people will take her, and still you'll be married to her, and she will be with others. Doesn't make sense, right? But he said, no, I know that nobody can do anything to her. Like anyone that's going to be trying to get involved with her, is done. And therefore, bikesh leman itav li ba'avurech, right? He said, it's like, okay, but then the question, I will benefit and I will be giving gift because of you. It's also a difficult thing to understand because soneh matanot tichye, right? We shouldn't love getting presents, right? Freebies. אלא שעיקר המטרה, but the main purpose, the goal was that for Israel, that he didn't mean for him at the time, he means for Israel in the future, right? Because if we look at the Torah later on, when we exit Egypt during the redemption, Hashem told us, right, to go and borrow vessels, gold, silver, whatever, from the Egyptians. Why? In Masechet Brachot it says, so Avraham would not complain to Hashem and said, oh, you gave me a bracha, a blessing, that in the future my descendants will go down to Egypt, they will be tortured, they will be slaves, but after that, they will go out from Egypt and they will have lots of things with them, right? Rechush Gadol. So Hashem is telling Bnei Israel, go and borrow from the Egyptian everything that you can, because Avram is going to complain if you're going out without anything. He said, yeah, one part of the blessing you fulfilled, but what about the Rechush Gadol? Right? So Avraham was asking for the future. Ki maaseh avot siman lebanim. Whatever the fathers are doing, it's a sign, it's a good sign for the sons. And that was his meaning, right? This is what he meant. Itnu li matanot, for that to be a preparation and a sign and a mark for the grandchildren that they will live in Rechush Gadol. ויש לומר בזה יותר, we can say furthermore, שאברהם אבינו עצמו לא ידע לאיזו מטרה יורד למצרים. Avraham didn't know the purpose of him going down to Egypt. And he just knew that, okay, fine, Hashem is sending me over there to clean, for cleansing. But he didn't know what's the midah that he needs to purify over there. Only when he went down to Egypt, he saw the place of the Tuma, and the shell, the klipa, the evil inclination that rules over there, it midat yesod arvat haaretz, right? Arayot. כמאן דכתוב, right? ויהי כאשר הקריב לבוא מצרימה ואומר אל ישראל, right? He said, oh, he's getting closer to Egypt, and now suddenly he sees that she is a beautiful woman, right? So yeah, we saw that from the Zohar that it's the Shechina, but now they mean literally she's a beautiful woman. Suddenly he got influenced from that, and from that he learned that okay, here this is the great evil inclination that is working on the Tuma in that matter for Arayot. So otherwise, how can I suddenly look at my wife and say, "Oh, you're beautiful"? Therefore, that's the middle over there, and therefore Abraham got scared because maybe the kedusha that they have between him and Sarah is not going to hold in Egypt. Okay, זה בספר הקדוש said in the book נועם אלימלך, שאברהם היה בחינת דוכרה, which means a male, a זכר, right, which is indicating for ruchaniut, for spiritualism, and Sarah was nukba, nekeva, right, which is for the gashmiut, like giver and a receiver. וזה שאמר אברהם, כי יראו אותך המצרים, ויאמרו אשתו, זאת והרגו אותי, right, so the Egyptian will see you, they will say, she is his wife, and they will kill me, and they will keep you alive. He said, what does it mean, will kill me? They will kill my spiritualism. And you, they will keep alive, they will increase the gashmiut, the physical things. Because he saw that the koach of the Tuma, the strength of the Tuma is very strong over there. Because even with his Gedusha and all the middle that Abraham has, suddenly he starting to look at his wife as a beautiful woman, mean that klipa in Egypt is very, very strong. And there is a risk that they will kill his spiritualism totally, and will leave only the gashmiut of her. Therefore he said that you are my sister, which is, sister is the chokhmah. Tell the wisdom that you are my sister. Okay, which means we need to increase the strength of the Gedusha, the level of the Gedusha with the Torah. And by having that, then we will be able to overcome Egypt. So he said he was not afraid about Sarah itself. He didn't see any risk because the Shechina were dwelling on Sarah. But he was afraid, he was scared that the Gedusha between them will be harmed. And therefore said, okay, let's get stronger in that Gedusha. And that will influence the Gedusha on the next generations. Then when he say that you are my sister, we need to increase the Torah. Because when the evil inclination is fighting very hard, the only advice that we have is to learn Torah. Right? To learn Torah. וזהו שאמרו חז"ל למסכת קידושים on the Torah הקדושה. כל זמן שרתיעה זו על לבך, אין אתה מתיירא, לא מן החמים ולא מן הצונן. So he said in מסכת קידושים, as long as you have this bandage, right, like a gauze or something on the body, then if it's protecting you, then you don't care about the cold one and the hot one. That will protect you. So he said, the sitra, the evil inclination, is cooling us in the places that we need to be hot, like in faith, davening, learning. We need to be like a spicy, like chili pepper. We need to be, right, like fire. So it's cooling us off. And in the place when we need to be cold, like desires for immorality thing is making us hot over there. So the advice for that is to have the Torah. The Torah is like a patch. So as long as we have the patch, which is the Torah, on our heart, then we are not afraid from the cold ones and from the hot ones. Right? That's an analogy. כמו שכתב הרמב"ם in סוף הלכות איסורי ביאה, right? On immorality things, and the Rambam wrote that אין היצר הרע שולט אלא בלב פנים לחוכמה. He said the evil inclination rule only the one that his heart is clean from the wisdom. Which means if you don't learn Torah, then you don't have a wisdom. And then the evil inclination will rule. But when a Jew is sinking in the Chokhmat Torah, then Kocha Magnu Matzilu, right? So the strength of the Torah is protecting and helping him. Whether he's learning right now or not learning right now, right? כמו שפרשו רבותינו הקדושים במאמר חז"ל, right? So he said, our sages said, הלוואי אותי עזבו ותורתי שמרו, right? It's like Hashem is saying, I wish they will leave me, but they will keep my Torah. That he said that when a Jew feels that Hashem left him and the evil inclination is getting control of him, then the only advice that we have is to keep the Torah, to increase the Torah, to go and learn more and more and more. The same way that we found in Yosef, right? When the time of the big test that he had with the wife of Potiphar, suddenly he imagined, he saw the profile or the picture of his father, which is hinted about the strength of the Torah. As it says, Titen emet leYaakov, give the truth to Yaakov, that the cleaving in the Torah saved him. And also we found when Yaakov Avinu went down to Egypt, what was his first action? He sent Judah, right, prior to everyone else. Why? To build yeshivot, right? To build yeshiva, to prepare the ground. Because in Egypt, right, the shell, the evil inclination is very strong, and only with the strength, only with learning the Torah, they can hold on over there. And this is what Avraham said, Imrina achoti. So achoti is, let's increase the Torah, cleaving to the Torah, learning the Torah, etc., and that will keep between you and me. And that was also, again, not only for Avraham and Sarah, but also for the next generation to come. And Avraham Avinu was fixing it in the Tachlit HaTikun, right? So he said, in the Torah Kedosha, Torat Chai, right? Again, it's an infinite Torah. It's coming to teach us not only what happened in the past with Avraham and Sarah, but also to teach us that when we are feeling that the evil inclination is starting to overcome us, and the filth and the desires, etc., then we need to go and learn more Torah and cleave to the Torah. Be with the community, be with the Kehillah, and that will help us because the Koach HaTorah Magnim Matzli. And as long as we have the patch of the Torah on our heart, we are not afraid from the time that the evil inclination is trying to cool us down in the Torah, and when it's trying to increase the heat in the desires. So just to recap, this is a part of the process, right? And the process is to make us a nation. Make us a nation, right? In the Brit Ben Abetarim, the covenant between the parts, Avram getting from Hashem, it's a bracha, it's a guarantee that if you want your sons to be the chosen one, then they have to go through a boot camp, and the boot camp will be, the melting pot will be in Egypt. However, you need to prepare the camp, right? So how do you do that? You send Avram and Sarah, and they are making the evil inclination of Arayot a little bit weaker. Part of the gift that Pharaoh gave Sarah was a land. Which land was it? Eretz Goshen. Later on, Yosef went down to Egypt, right. And when he was passing the test with the Potiphar wife, he made the shell, the Arayot, weaker and weaker. And then when Bnei Israel went down to Egypt, where did they stay? They stayed in Eretz Goshen. That was the place that was given to Sarah like 400 years before. And that was all part of the process. And not only that it was part of the process, that part of the process like is still continuing because we became the chosen nation. It was the melting pot. The sons of Rachel and Leah, Bilhah and Zilpah, right, became one nation, 12 tribes. We left Egypt, right? Hashem redeemed us. We got to the Torah, and ever since we have been one big nation. So it's all part of the process. It's all part of the big plan. So Egypt was never a punishment. Egypt was just a boot camp. If you want to be a Navy SEAL, you have to go through a boot camp. Thank you for listening. Brouchim to you.